This is WYNT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Connor James. People in Leslie County are worried some historic parts of the county may be moved. This after a screenshot of Frontier Nursing's minutes went around on social media the last few days. Frontier Nursing was founded in the county back in 1939. They have historic properties, but have since begun moving their nursing school to Versailles, and the idea of taking the historic landmarks with it. Frontier Nursing is a dominant name in Leslie County. Founded in the county in 1939 by Mary Breckenridge, it was the primary health care provider for decades until becoming a nursing school. In 2017, Frontier Nursing purchased a campus in Versailles.
We've known they've been moving for a while, taking their student activities to Versailles.
Slowly, the school is moving their university from Hyden to Versailles. Locals believe it will cost jobs here, but that's not all they are worried about.
But talk has really increased lately about trying to take the stained glass window and the Nightingale brick from the chapel.
There's been talks of moving a famous stained glass window and brick on the campus as well.
And yesterday, some documents were released online that show that they're talking about actually moving the entire Wendover facility.
The Wendover facility was where Breckenridge lived, and it's a historic landmark in the county.
But then to hear that they're going to try to take the local landmarks with them just really infuriated me.
The company released a statement in part saying, quote, "At a recent Frontier Nursing University Board of Directors meeting, the sustainability of Wendover was discussed. The goal is to keep Wendover financially solvent for many years to come. Relocating the big house was one of the many ideas proposed during a brainstorming session. Upon further exploration, we realized that we could not envision a plan where we would move Wendover. Moving our campus to Versailles was a difficult and emotional decision for our board and leadership. We recognize that this decision has an impact on the Hyden and surrounding communities." In the statement, they did not mention the glass window or brick. Now, as of now, it's also unclear what sort of impact Frontier Nursing will have on the county in the coming years after moving to Versailles. And local state representative for the district, Derrick Lewis, chimed in on the possibility of the historic window leaving. He said, quote, "Stealing one community's heritage to manufacture another's history would only serve as further evidence of how far the FNS has traveled from its mission. I'm hopeful that with enough awareness that common sense will prevail." Well, an Eastern Kentucky woman says she's the victim of mistaken identity. Kim Bryant says she was arrested and taken to jail after being pulled over for speeding in Madison County. Deputies say when they ran Bryant's name, an arrest warrant came up in McCracken County from 20 years ago. Officials in McCracken County say the mix-up is a possible case of identity theft.
Somehow or another, my social was connected to this other Kim Bryant. I wasn't the person that did this, and they wouldn't listen to me. They just threw me in there.
Bryant was taken to jail yesterday afternoon. She had to wait until this morning for a judge in Paducah to sign off on a mistake and release her from jail. Well, law enforcement agencies in Frankfort have been battling a new trend sweeping its way across the city and county. Since January 1st, the Franklin County Sheriff's Office says it seized more than 600 products used to vape THC. It's a chemical in marijuana that gets you high. In these cartridges, it's highly concentrated.
The levels of THC in these pens are not what you would think, oh, they're just smoking weed or whatever and let it go. It's serious. You know, you can end up with a medical condition that may take your life or cost you a lot of heartache and time in a hospital.
The sheriff suspects by the end of 2019, the department will seize more than 1,000 THC vaping cartridges. Well, after a two-month saga, Black Jewel miners packed up their protest camp. Black Jewel miners stepped on the railroad tracks on July 29th. They said they would stay there until they were paid. Then the miners started new jobs, went back to school, and were too busy to come to the tracks. And 8.5 weeks later, only one miner and his wife stayed around the clock. Chris and Stacy Rowe decided they could not do this on their own, and Rowe was offered a new job.
I hate all this happened, but maybe it was a blessing in disguise because we got the opportunity we did for him to go on the road and drive, and we'll be with him all the time.
Black Jewel is still in negotiations with the Department of Labor over the coal that is on those railroad tracks.
And we saw that cold front move through today, but of course we are still remaining on the drier side. The drought monitor also updated today. You can see some of our area is now considered in a severe drought. That includes Perry County, Breathitt County, some of Magoffin, a little bit of Knott County, and down into parts of Leslie County as well, while really all of us across the region are in a moderate drought. So rainfall for today, we received none at Jackson, only a trace of rain, usually right around 2.8 inches around this time of the month, but still year to date we are definitely still a little bit above average. But today marks 29 days without rain at Jackson, so we broke that record a couple of days ago. That was 25 days. That was set back in 2005 and 1991. So satellite and radar shows those clouds starting to move out of our areas. That cold front continues to push out of the area, which will cool us off. You're already seeing those lower 60s if you're looking up into Moorhead, Richmond, those upper 60s to lower 70s where those clouds are just hanging on a little bit. So as we head into the rest of those overnight hours, it will be a little bit cooler, but more heat is on the way as we head into tomorrow, and then we're drying back out as we head into the weekend. I'll have that and more coming up in just a few short minutes.
All right, thanks, Paige. More than 200 people met today at Operation Unite's first ever Rural Health Opioid Project Provider Summit. With several successful recovery stories, this summit was designed to provide hope to Eastern Kentucky communities and information on how they can help with the opioid crisis.
We've been fighting this war for 20 years. And I think most people have realized that trying to incarcerate or send people who are addicted to drugs to prison is not going to be a cure for them.
Mullins hopes that having a different approach to people fighting drug problems will take away the stigma of substance abuse disorders. Well, students and administrators sat down to discuss inclusiveness and diversity in college experiences. The Kentucky Association of Blacks in Higher Education held their Southeast Regional Summit today at the Southeast Community and Technical College campus in London. Overall, the discussions were centered around discussing diverse environments and inclusiveness in and outside of the classrooms.
It's about being aware of the cultures and the subcultures that we face every single day, and what are those many different lessons that we can learn from that and grow as people.
The summit panel included students and officials from Berea College and the Hazard and Southeast Kentucky and Community Technical Colleges. Well, a Kentucky-born astronaut spends 150 days in space, and after coming back to Earth, decided to talk about his experiences through a satellite feed. Randy Bresnik spent more than 150 days on the International Space Station and on a space shuttle mission. He says in his time in space, he was always looking back at Earth and wondering if they were heading over his old Kentucky home.
I certainly flew over it many times, and what I found out quickly was it's really hard to find exact things when you're inside of a landmass. Stuff along the coast is really easy because there's defined features. So there's certainly times where I flew over wondering, hey, is that Louisville? You know, is that Ireland Army Hospital there at Fort Knox where I was born? That was certainly one of the things I wondered when we went over.
Bresnik says he's excited about getting others back to space with the Artemis program, hoping to get astronauts to the moon by 2024 and set the stage for trips to Mars. Well, the tent city continues in Lexington as hundreds of people camp outside of Memorial Coliseum waiting for tickets to this year's Big Blue Madness. With more than 300 tents out there now, no new campers will be allowed to set up. Fans can still get tickets to Big Blue Madness. UK Athletics is encouraging you to use Ticketmaster for that. What fans say they like best about the tent city tradition is getting to know the players.
Well, we do it every year just because we enjoy coming out here and actually having the experience of meeting the players, kind of learning the personalities, getting to know the team, and also, getting them to sign stuff.
A limited number of campers will be getting control cards tomorrow afternoon. That guarantees a max of 4 tickets when they go available tomorrow night. Well, the Chicken Festival officially started in London. It is a time of year many look forward to, but not quite as much as Lindsay Sharp. This year may be her best one yet. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to Lindsay about why the festival is special to her.
The passion started in 1994. That's when Lindsay Sharp won the clucking contest at the World Chicken Festival.
It's my Christmas and my Disney World.
Since then, her love has only grown. The community of the festival, that's where her love is rooted.
And we get to talk about the festival and the food and the great food and the pounds that we're going to put on.
That's what festivals are about. The food, the fun, a moment to take a break from the world. That is something Lindsay needed, a break. You see, she's been battling cancer for 3 years.
I definitely wanted to feel good and not have to wear a mask, trying to eat a fried Snickers or fried chicken from the frying pan.
She never lets the cancer get in the way of this festival, not once. She's even gone as far as to schedule her appointments around this. That spirit, that charisma, that's why she was unanimously chosen to be this year's Grand Marshal of the parade.
She is just an inspiration, and we just are so proud and honored to have her for our Grand Marshal for the 30th anniversary this year.
It's just an awe and a shock and such an honor, and I still can't believe it.
Lindsay says she will start back on her treatment for skin cancer next week. But this week, it's all about the festival. In Laurel County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Great story. Lindsay said she has considered herself the Grand Marshal of the parade unofficially for years, but she is excited to finally have it come to fruition. Well, coming up at 11, 50 years later, a new mix of the Beatles' legendary album Abbey Road is on the way. What you can expect.
And tonight will be a little bit on the cooler side, but hot temperatures return for your Friday. I'll have those details coming up.